And the word Jordan, so we're going to overcome. But the word Jordan is Hebrew word 3381, and it means a descender. So we're going to overcome a descender. So what are we being tested for in this world every day? We're being tested by the uh, uh, on the law. We're being tested to see if we'll stand with the law, or if the descender is going to coerce us to break the law. And then if we look at the word possess, it's Hebrew word yashar, uh, number 3423, and it means to occupy or by driving out the previous tenants. That's very, very interesting, isn't it? So if we're going to overcome the descender, we're driving out what? The uncleanness or the breaking of the law. So you talk about the song talking about crossing the River Jordan. You will not find in the scripture the word the River Jordan. That was man's interpretation. They crossed Jordan. They crossed a barrier. So that is kind of the quick uh, synopsis of that scripture. I turn it back over to Ashea.
You know, when the Minister of Interior revealed that information, I said, man, you know, and how the scripture are so deeply written. It's written in parable, and the crossing over the Jordan is the crossing from the physical to the spiritual. Not all of them could cross at that time period. And it's a whole greater understanding of, the promised land, what it was. It's not what we've been raised and programmed to think, and we have that same barrier within us. They called it a blood-brain barrier, because flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh. And so we've been so focused on about the third eye, because your soul, and the Father has a direct link to you through your third eye. And so when it's time for you to come up, and when He wants you there, He has your telephone number. He know how to dial you up, because every one of us has a different frequency, like you have a different phone number. And so when it's time for you to call you, He gonna call you. But a lot of people don't want to pick up, you know. And I'm always saying, remember the call to come home. So we're gonna get into this, because this day, this third month, the day of Pentecost, those who came forth, these are the finest of the wave offering, and all this was done in the spring of the year. There's three tribes that cover the spring of the year, and 3 months. There's 12 months in the year, and then in a certain time, after so many years, third year, it's like your 13 moons. But it's all fitted in when you understand how to do the appropriate count, and you have to observe the sighting of the new moon. You have to sight it. When you see that light, that's when the door of heaven open. And what people don't understand, they go by that dark moon. We know that the day begins from darkness until light. That dark moon could be a day or two more, but when you see the crack of the light, that signify the children of light, is now time for you to come in into the light. Come out of the darkness, because you went into the darkness to bring those that are in the darkness out back into the light. And this is where the 1,000 year have been set up. And so, but we're going to see certain things quickly here, because I want to show certain things about the time period that were reserved for this time period for us to understand these things. So here it goes. One of the things is, because which we did, the Father moved us to do certain things that we wasn't even fully conscientious that we were doing it. So none of us can ever say, hey, look what I did. Because every time you go to try to speak on something that you think that you're going to speak on, and then Yahweh give you something else. So you know, when he said, let me tell you, when he said be ready, you have the plan, but Father ordered the footstep. And I'm learning that. And so when I got up this morning, I went downstairs and I saw the board and then the Ark of the Covenant. I said, what did he want me to see? I'm always amazed about, I thank the brothers. They saved certain things. So when I saw this, I said, now, and then put together with the minister of interior, about the priest who bear the Ark of the Covenant, the people can't cross over until they who have the covenant come to help them to get across. This is going to be beautiful how this is done. The first thing is, in the Acts, this is the Holy Spirit working now. And that's when in the book of Acts, he said he will pour his spirit. And how all this is correlating, I could have never masterminded this, how he's correlating all of this about it's a legislative act. Because he's going to declare the decree, thou art my son. And it was just today when I was downstairs that it started to click. So here we go. In Acts, the first chapter, the 22nd verse, he said, beginning from the baptism of John, Yakanai, until that same day that he was taken up from us, must one be ordained to be a witness with us of his restoration. They said resurrection. They must be ordained. So nobody can say that, because we're holding the registry, we're holding the book that you must enter into this book in order for you to be recognized, as in the book of Daniel said, they who was in the book, they will deliver. And people don't believe these things, and we can't help that. We're learning now to just focus on our instruction, because when the time, whatever situation it is, because even Babylon was given a charge, because Exodus with Egypt is a part of Babylon. And when Babylon, during the time of Pharaoh, was given instruction, that they must assist Yahweh's people from coming out of those. But guess what? They have to be written. And so, because Pharaoh going to say, well, who are your people? Well, everybody going to be going up, but they're going to know that these are the ones right here. Because the Father don't have many governments. There's one government. There's one United States. There's one Russia. There's one Africa. So you got to follow the order. Yahweh allow it to be. So you must be ordained. So the council must ordain you for you to be able to do this in order to speak. So they'll be able to say, I didn't send them. They're not of us. I didn't ordain them from this office. And you're gonna make a call throughout the office. Do anybody know this person? And they're gonna be in a position to say, no, I don't know them. So because there's gonna be many people that's gonna rise up and assume certain responsibility, believing in the way they was taught in the system. So here we go. Now we're gonna get into this. Understanding this process that took place. Let me see. Because we're taking you back home, and we have to be reprogrammed to be able to see this like the Northern Lights. The Northern Lights are always there, but it's only it's there to let you know the visual of where the light is originating from. The city is present, but you can't see it with your physical eyes. I want you to understand what I'm saying. You cannot see the city with the physical eyes. And every once in a while, this is what the Father do when he wants you to know that he is present. He said, when the cloud come over, he said, you will see the bowl in the clouds. You will see the colors in the clouds. But the water, the mist in the heaven has to be just right so you can see the colors. Well, it's the same thing when you see the Northern Lights. The beauty of the colors. It's the radiant of the city. You know, and when you really look, you're going to see other things too. But, you know, you got to train your eyes. You will see it has a certain form and shape. It's like it's reflecting something, you know, that is there present. And water has a way to bend light to make something that seems far away, make it look very close. But when you walk towards it, it seems like it goes further away. So here we go. The council had to come forth in this time period because the Father, but our brother Yeshua said, I will not leave you comfortless. So here we go. He said, let me make this a little bigger because a lot of people like to see this, the whole. Let me here. He said, in my Father's house are many mansions, and if it were not so, I would have told you, so I go to prepare a place. And he said, if I had prepared a place for you, if I go to prepare a place for you, he said, I will come again and receive you unto myself, and where I'm at, there you may be also. And whether I go, you know, and the way you know. Well, you know, and that's what you got to ask yourself. Well, if he said that we will know the way, well, surely, if someone said they're your guide and your tour, you should want that. Well, they should know where they're taking us. Well, that's the first thing you got to ask people. The scripture say, try the spirit. You know, and every spirit is not of the Father. He said, try the spirit. So if where he go, and he said we know where he go, well, then I should be able to see it. Well, if you can't see, then Yeshua said to the one man, said, hey, can you see? He said, they look like trees. He said, come on back and let me work with your understanding a little better so you get some clarity because you still have some little darkness in you that you can't see. So that's where his counsel had to come forth in this 7th day. When you know the law, the priest had to go out on the 7th day to examine the people to see if they're ready to be offered up, you know, as living stones, as a righteous sacrifice, you know, upon the altar, not been saying as you're going to put them on a pit to burn them. You know, the table looked upon as an altar. When you go in the court, you know, you got 2 tables, one for the defense and one for the prosecutor. And when you sit at the table, you're being offered up. This is a great court case, and this is how we have to look at it. And even at during that time, some that was with Yeshua didn't understand what he was saying. And Yeshua said, man, how long you been with me that you don't see these things? Because we're not wrestling against flesh and blood, because that can't go past the barrier. That can't go beyond the firmament that separates the heavens and the earth, because that is of the earth. The only thing that can go beyond that is the soul. That's the direct link that the Father will allow to come through. And so a lot of people don't understand. But they're waking up and they say, hold up, what is my purpose? Why I'm here? What can I do? And they're looking. So here we go. Let's keep moving on. I want to get to the part where we at right now. He said, let me see here. Here we go. Let me keep on going down in Yakanan. I'm going to speed a little further. He said, believe not the 10th verse, because, you know, a lot of Philip them, they didn't understand when he said, show him the Father. But he said in the 14th verse of Yakanan, believest thou not that I am in the Father and the Father in me? The words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the words that dwell in me, he doeth the works. You know, we're not of our own. He said, be ready in season, out season, to give a word. When whoever asks you, and if the Spirit move you, give them an answer. And, you know, we may think we of our own self, but the Father said you was brought with a price. And what he puts in your mouth to speak, these are the things you are to speak. And so we may think this is what we're going to say, but, you know, he got you on that one. You're going to speak what he wants you to speak, not what you want. He said, believe me that I'm in the Father and the Father in me, or else believe me for the work's sake. He said, when they, in the book of Acts, in the first chapter, we're going to read some scripture in here. because it's leading up to this day when he told his disciples, go wait on me. And we've been waiting a long time. And the way the scriptures are written, some said, there's no coming. Y'all been saying this throughout time. We heard our mother say it. We heard our grandmama say it. We had a great-great-daddy say this. Oh, he should come. But Yahshua said, go wait. He said, I will appear. I will come to those. Wait. Now the waiting has come. And now it's going to pass. For those who understand, they're going to see. And that's what the clarity has to be made known right now. That's why we having all this disruption on the sun at this appointed time, in order to help those who've been waiting for this day, to help boost their conscious state where they can see what's going on. Because there's a great awakening going across the world, and what they call the woke ones. Term that's pass over it, like we talk about pass over, where it's leading to a point. So here you go. He said, when they therefore will come together, they asked of him, saying, Yahshua, without this time restore again the kingdom of Israel? He said, and he said unto them, it is not for you to know the time or season which our Father had put in his own power. But Yahweh had reserved a time for us in this time. We was given the Messiah restoration. And that's what we've been recorded on the record. We've been recorded. According to the time we appear, when the 1,000 year came in, the Father allowed us to come and make our presence. But we didn't understand that. But as we keep going, but you shall receive power. That's an authority. The authority comes with understanding. After that, the Holy Spirit is come upon you, and you shall be witness unto me both in Jerusalem and in all yada. Jerusalem means teachers of peace. We we're the teachers of peace, the council of peace. And in all yada, the praise of Yahweh, and in Samaria and unto the uttermost part of the earth, because we were scattered into the four corners of the earth. He said, now, but see, as they were speaking this, there was more understanding. When Yekeskel said, can these dry bones live? They were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. We at the point now, there's an awakening where the people going to be gathered and go to the place where the Father ordained. This is a process. It's nothing instant. And when he had spoken these things, when they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of the sight. Well, let me skip on down, because I want to get to a point here. Let me see, do I want to read this? Let me see here. I'm going to skip down because I went over this. I want to get to the part about this crossing over. And while they looked steadfast toward heaven, as he went up, ascended up, behold, two men stood with him in white apparel. He said, which also said, you men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into the heaven? This same Yahshua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall come, and the words shall so come, where he shall so appear, in like manner as you have seen him go into the heaven. He said, then they returned, they unto Jerusalem, from the mount called Olive, which is from Jerusalem, a Sabbath day's journey. When we always see this, a Sabbath day's journey, our time and our distance is totally different in the heaven. I want you to think about, when you look at a map, when they doing when you want to measure your distance, they have a scale that is on the map, that you could use that scale where the scale is brought down to the size of that map. So you can read it accordingly to that map. But the bigger the map is, the different the scale will read. Well, a Sabbath journey here in our time span is much different from the time that is in the heaven. Like Kiefer said, one day to a father is 1,000 years to us, and 1,000 years to us is one day to Father Yahweh. So there's a time scale of adjustments to where we at. So here we go. We're gonna get into something, because there was a day where we in right now that was prepared for us to go on a journey that Yahshua ben Nun said, you know, not this day. But Yahshua told us in another way. He said, where I go, you know, as our brother said, a crossing over, because no one ever talked about that, crossing over from the physical unto the spiritual. And that's where the disconnection comes. So we're going to see this when we read this. He said in Yeshua, the 3rd chapter, I'm going to slow this down, and then I'm going to go somewhere else and show you how this is done. Man, this in Joshua, 3rd chapter, starting at the 1st verse. And I want everybody to keep in mind what the minister of Interior said about Jordan, the crossing over. Not all enter in at the same time. And Yahshua gave it another illustration. There was 100 sheep. Only 9, was gathered, but there was 1 still left, because that 1 then crossed over to enter in. But Yahshua said, I got to go back. And Yahshua been there and said the same thing in a different way. He said, help your brothers, see, that's where we come in. They who understand, once they understand the plan, the vision, they are to help go out into the field. They help bring the rest in. Now, that's what this day was all about. We come together and we see the plan, the blueprint, the understanding. The vision is become more clear because it was hidden. And Yahshua said, I only revealed to you what the Father has shown me. Well, this is what this whole day about. We come together on this day. We come one accord in mind, and we talk. And as we talk, as the Spirit moved, as Shaul was moved, when the Spirit moved him, he spoke. So here we go. He said, Yahshua rose early in the morning, and they removed from Shittim and came to Jordan. And all the children of Israel and lied there before they passed over. Oh, they couldn't. Now you got to ask yourself, why they couldn't pass over? Now there's a whole lot that going on here that they couldn't pass over. And because always remember when the sinful act of Cain, he was put outside the city. And he could not come back in, until a certain time. Well, here we are in this time period. People are waking up, and they say, they don't look the same. What's going on here? Oh, what is my purpose? There has to be something. So that's when we come in, and we got to examine them. To see, well, you've been asleep for a while. What you mean? It's time to come home. So here we go. Let's keep reading. He said, and it came to pass after 3 days that the officer went through the host. Now I want you, I'm sharing with you. He said after 3 days. Now the way it's written, it ain't telling you what it's really actually said. I'm going to read it. It said, and it came to pass at the end of 3 days. Now, when it said, because the 3 days, Kiefer said a day is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years in one day. Yahshua was gone 2 days ago, which was 2,000 years ago. We now have entered into the third day. And the third day landed on the seventh day, which is the 1,000 year reign. I'm going to keep repeating this over and over until people see what I'm saying. Yahshua said that in the third day, his body will rise. Well, what he was talking about, we are the body of the Messiah. We're going to rise up in the third day. Yahshua, which name almost sounds just like Yahshua, Joshua, and Yahshua, Yahweh will save. Here it is. He was speaking in the same light of what Yahshua was saying. He said, in the third day, you, my brothers and sisters, he said, you will rise. When you arise, that means you awaken. You have been wakened, to see the light. And some just go see darkness. Because that's what they choose. And that's what Daniel said. So he said, and it came to pass at the end of the 3 days that the officer went through the host. That's what we're doing. We got to go through and see who's ready. That's what the job of the priest in the 7th day. To go out and examine, okay, he's ready, he's clean. So he had to wash himself, prepare himself, because we have to teach him how to go before the Father. And he said, and they commanded the people saying, when you see the ark of the covenant of Yahweh your Father, and the priests, the Levites bearing it, when you shall remove from your place and go after it. He said, I'm going to say it again. And they commanded people saying, when you see the ark of the covenant of Yahweh your Father, and the priests, the Levites bear it, then you shall remove from your place and go after him. They could not cross over until the ark of the covenant went before them. Well, how does that make sense? And the scripture said, know that you are the temple. Did not he say, I will write my law upon thy minds and thy heart? It is not something you're going to see externally. It's something that's in you that he preserved at a right time. But who are the bearers of the ark? People are looking. Oh, because there's a whole lot of them out there, they claim they have this. They put on apparel as though they are it. But that don't mean that they are it. The Father told us what we must do in order to be able to either. He said, you will know them. I will put a mark upon their hand. And what it means, they will prescribe unto me. They will not be numbered among them, because the Father will have a registry of those who came out, who entered into the covenant, that a book was written to recognize that they are of me. Because that's what it leads to. Let my people go. So here he goes. He said, when you see the ark, we, the council that been restored, and you go out there, look in the earth, the council of peace. You ain't going to find no council of peace. They going to spell it COUNCIL. That's dealing with corporations. But the true council is COUNSEL. And that's written in the registry. It's a registry from the beginning to the end. All purposes are established by council. So here he goes. He said, when you see the ark, the priest, who bear the ark of this covenant, he said, then is when you're going to rise up and follow. He said, now, here go the key thing. He said, yet, in the 4th verse, this is the big hidden thing. Or when I saw this one, he said, because this leading up to this day, where we at right now, they was at the mountain. And when you think about Moshe, he was speaking to the people. He said, now, he gave them a covenant, and the people said, because they could not cross over, there was a process. Now y'all gonna act right now when you go back in the house, of a father. They say, yes, Father, we're gonna act right. Now you know what you're saying to them now. Are you gonna act right when we go back? And our children, we gonna act on our best behavior with that scout honor. We gonna We gonna be on our best behavior. And so once they agreed, Father took them by their own word. You said it now. He said, now you said you would do this, and if you don't do it, you know the consequences. So here it is. They said, tell the Father, we with a scout honor, we gonna do what he says. So he said, here go Yahshua. Now this would had come. He said, yet there should be a space. I'm gonna read it how I get read in the King James version, then I'm gonna break it down. He said, yet there should be a space between you and it. That's the ark, because Father he's gonna do a separation. About 2,000 cubit by measure. He said, come not near unto it, that and you may know the way by which you must go, for you have not passed this way hitherefore before time these 3 days. When it's 3 days, 3 days, 3 days, a day to Father Yahweh is 1,000 years and 1,000 years. This is where you got to see the much greater. He said, now I'm going to read it to where it should say. He said, nevertheless, there should be a space between you and it, the ark, because the ark, set there where Yahweh is at. It's all symbolic. About 2,000 cubits by measure. Come not unto it, what he said, do not enter into it, that in the end you may have understanding the journey by which you must go. Now he tried to tell you, he said, now you never went this way, but there's going to come an understanding in the third day, this 1,000 year of how to enter in. He said, you never went this way before. He said, now you can't cross over, and that's so key. You can't cross over until the Ark of the Covenant go before you. Because they who bear the Ark, as Yahshua said, the government was placed upon his shoulder. He said, that's why he said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. He said, no one can come before the Father unless by him. But Yahshua did it in a simple form of understanding, in a parable form, but you got to know the old in order to be able to understand the new. Unless the Father send those to bring you in, you can't come in. That's where it is. You're going to be going around this matrix, round and around and around, never getting out of this. He said, therefore, before this time, you never entered this way. Now, here we go. I'm going to give you some more scriptures here, and then I'm going to share this. I'm going to draw this to a close. Hosea said it a little differently. This is in the 6th chapter. He said, come. See, that's what we're saying. Come. Let us return unto Yahweh. Come. For he had torn, and he will heal us. He has smitten, and he will bind us up. After 2 days, look here, after 2,000 years, will he revive us? Man was given 6,000 years. But Yahshua been gone 2 days ago, 2,000 years ago. He said, in the third day, in this 1,000 years, which had landed, the third day had landed on the 7th day, which is a Sabbath. He said, in the third day, the 1,000-year day journey, the Sabbath, this is the journey that they must enter in with those who bear in order to get back into his house. He said, he will rise us up, and then we shall live in his sight. And that's when Yahshua said, look here, he said, the prince of this world cometh, and he said, we must rise up from this earthen tabernacle, and to go back to where our Father awaits. But where it's written, you won't see this. This is the third day. He said, after 2,000 years, would he revive us, and in the third day, the 1,000-year reign, the 1,000-year day journey, he said, we will rise up. And you remember, with the Ark of the Covenant, they were standing there at the entrance of Jordan, but they could not cross over until the bearers of the Ark crossed over. It's this play on things that those whose eyes were not allowed to see, they won't see it. And this is what was done. He was trying to show us these things. Now what I'm gonna do, let me see here. I'm gonna fast forward because I don't want to read all of this. I'm gonna go to it right now. I'm gonna show you something that was hidden for us about how this same thing was said in a different way. Yeshua ben Nun was trying to explain it a little bit more, but it wasn't, he explained it in his way, and then our brother Moshe showed us in another way. Each of the prophets, they all spoke differently because this stuff was done in a way to hide this way. Now here it goes. We're going to see something here. Now I'm going to show you about this covenant. And so here it goes. We're going to read some scriptures here. It's not much because I want you to see the order of how this is done. And these are things that we already did. And the day when I went downstairs and I looked at the board and I said, ain't this something? Watch this. In Deuteronomy, and this kept coming over and over, and especially those that are here to understand certain things, how it was written. Man, I'm telling you. He said, behold, this is Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, the 5th verse. I'm going to read the 5th verse and the 6th verse. He said, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgment, even as Yahweh thy Father commanded me, that you should go so that you should do so in the land where you go to possess it. But he said, into the land, this promised land. But there's certain requirement before you get into that land. You got to be escorted into this land. It's not that physical land that you see over there. There's another place that's prepared. And so he said, I keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nation, which should hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. Then he said in Deuteronomy 11 chapter, the 24th verse, he said, every place wherein thy soles of thy feet shall tread shall be yours. From the wilderness to Lebanon, from the river to the river of Euphrates, even unto the uttermost sea shall your coast be. Now, I'm going to go on down, and I'm going to show you something here. And then I'm going to show you something to help you to see this even better. He said, behold, I set before you this day blessings and curses. A blessing if you obey the commandments of Yahweh your Father, which I command you this day. And a curse if you will not obey this commandment of Yahweh your Father, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day. Now here we go. I'm going to show you in this same chapter, when he was saying this, there's a requirement for you to cross over. And this was about the Jordan. It's a requirement. He said, and it shall come to pass, when Yahweh thy Father had brought thee unto the land which thou goest to possess it, and if that possess it, that thou shalt put the blessings upon Mount Gerizim and the curse upon Mount Ebal. This is a court. To the left of the Father is the prosecutor. You know, there were two cherubim, one prosecute and one defense. It's a court. It's a big court. And what they're showing you is a court. One for blessing, to the right was the blessing, and to the left was of Yahweh is for the curse. He said, are they not on the other side Jordan? By the way, that they was on the other side of the Jordan. They was coming from the east, coming to the west to enter in. But not all of them crossed the Jordan going west from Mount Olive in that direction. They had to cross over to enter back into the city. There was still some still out there in the land, in that physical realm, that Yahshua ben Nun had to convince others, come on, y'all, we got to go back and get these. And that's our course came. And we had to do a job. And it was our time and our course from heaven to come in this realm into the physical in order to help those to return back home. But he hid it in us for a time. And at that time, he will open it up so we could see. That's what's going on. That's why they said a woke generation. They play on words. They're waking it up. And they said, what is my purpose? This don't seem like me. He said, are they not on the other side of Jordan? By the way where the sun goeth down in the land of the Canaanites, and dwell in the campaign over against Gilgal beside the plains of Moriah. For we shall pass over Jordan, you know, this Jordan, physical to the spiritual, go in to possess the land which Yahweh thy father give you, and you shall possess it and dwell therein. All this encompassed where Yahshua said, I go to prepare a place for you. It's something you can't see with the physical eye. And when you see the northern lights, is that you know there's something there that is showing. It's like a veil, a curtain there, you know. But he allows you to, he tells you, you will see the token of my covenant, of my presence, when you see those lights. But that was all explained away from us, so we don't understand these things. But we have to bring it back to the conscious state of mind. He said, for you shall pass over Jordan to go to possess that land, that promised land. Let me see. Here we go. He said, now therefore, Exodus 19, the 5th verse, you shall obey my voice. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for the earth is mine. And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests. This is what the Father said. You shall be a priest unto me if you will keep my covenant. Well, how are you going to keep something if you're not entering into it? You're not obligated. Anybody know contract? You can't obligate somebody to something if they're not in the covenant or the contract. So you got to keep my covenant. These are the words which you shall speak unto the children of Israel. They was right at Jordan. They couldn't pass over until they meet certain requirements. He said, for thou art, in Deuteronomy 7 chapter, the 6th verse, thou art an holy people unto Yahweh thy Father. Yahweh thy Father had chosen thee to be a special people, a treasure unto himself above all the people that are upon the face of the earth. Deuteronomy 29, I'm going to read this and show how important this covenant is, as though when you became, those who became a citizen of this country, you can either be naturalized or you could be born in this country to be a citizen. The same thing is done with Yahweh through his covenant. He said, now, Deuteronomy 29, he said, keep therefore the words of this covenant and do them that you may prosper in all that you do, that you do. You stand this day, all of you before Yahweh, your father, your captain, your tribes, and your elders, and your officers, and all the men of Israel, your little ones, your wives, and the strangers that are in thy camp, from the hewer of the water, the wood, unto the hewer, to the draw of thy water. He said this, that thou shalt enter into the covenant with Yahweh thy father, and unto his oath that Yahweh thy father maketh unto thee. Now watch this. Here he said you must enter into the covenant. Now watch this. The ark sailed upon water. And I'm going to show you another way of looking at this. Enter to the covenant. Well, let's put the whole piece. Enter into the ark of the covenant. There has to be something there that gives you permission to get on this ark to go over the water or go through the barrier. You know, you got to have something. Like they have transporters that are at the border where people get on the transporter to go to the other side to the bank. Now you got to look, y'all got to use your mind here. I'm trying to paint a picture here, what's going on. You can't cross over unless somebody's there at the entrance point, you know, like the custom. You can't come in unless you can go. You can go around like they doing down at the border, but they're gonna find them and they're gonna bind them hand and feet and they're gonna put them out. All of this is bigger than what we could imagine with our minds. So they have to enter into this covenant before they can get into the ark to cross over. Like Azariah said, he went and looked at the registry. Look here to see who all was in the priesthood. If you don't enter into the covenant, how we can acknowledge and say, this is of ours, let my people go. Does it make sense? I'm trying to make this so simple. You want to go on a cruise? Don't the cruise dock at the dock? And the people had to come with their passport? And then they had to, it's an order. Then they got a registry they look at. They see if you the one to get on here. Because those who bear witness to Yeshua, and I just read in the beginning, those who bear witness with us, they have to be ordained. This is what this day was all about. And Moshe came down to the mountain. And you know, this is a whole process in the book of Numbers. He had to number them. There was an account of all their families. When you go on the cruise, I'm going to put it in a term that everybody understands. If you register your family, don't each of your family got to have, depending on where you're going at, a passport? Come on. Look here. Passport. Where you think they got that from? You got to, in order for you to pass over, you got to have the passport and somebody at the port or at the door to let you in. Now, don't that make so sense? I'm trying to make this so. And what people say, well, I just believe. Well, that's a whole, many of them out there saying I'm going to believe don't mean they're going to go where we going at. I hope I'm making it so interesting. I see the brothers smiling and it's just clicking now, you know, because this is what this day was all about. So I didn't thought of it just coming to me, you know. So I got to make it so, you know, you ain't going on this boat ride, you know. So he said, thou shalt enter into the ark of the covenant with those who bear the covenant. I will bear it upon their shoulders, because our responsibility, because now I'm really getting ready to talk now. He said, now you, my brothers and sisters, you sons and daughters of Yahweh, you mark well who may enter into this house. Because this house, this cruise is about to take a cruise. And the Father going to show you in his cruise all things that have been promised to you. This is the day it's going to begin. It's going to be a time of change. And we're going to start growing. Because this is the time. You know, even the sun is helping us. The EMP that's coming off it. We are the children of light. You know, when Superman got weak, all he had to reach out to the sun and he got energized. You know, they make movies on this, the Marvin movies about all the things about us, what's going to occur. We are being empowered. So you got to have a passport to get on the cruise. Well, you got to have a passport to get into the ark. But, well, only those who bear the ark have to issue a pass. Oh, I can vouch for this one. And if we can't recognize him, what we going to say? I don't know you. Man, brother, I was there with you. I don't know you. Let's give him a benefit of it. Is his name on the registry? Nope. I don't know you. Come on, man. I don't know you. Next. Keep it stepping. So here we go. He said, and Yahweh is thy father, and unto his oath, will Yahweh thy father make you with this day. Today you hear my voice, harden not your heart. You don't know when Yahweh may send one of his. He said, now you may be careful now. You may be entertaining Amalek. Now, it may be one of Yahweh's appearing that day. He said, know that today that salvation came to your house. You know, Yahshua, Yahweh's salvation, the body of the Messiah. Know that I've sent one to you. He knocked at the door. Behold, I knock at the door. If anyone hear my voice, he said, when you go to the house, if the Son of Peace be there, why would he be called the Son of Peace? Unless he was of the covenant, he was waiting for the messenger to come. As when they came to Lot in Sodom, he says, time to come on out before the destruction. And the kid corn, he said, that he may establish thee today. Oh man, here today is so important. Today when I went down and looked. For people unto myself, and that he may be unto thee a father, as he said unto thee, and has sworn to thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. And what got me today when I went downstairs, he said that he may establish you this today. Y'all know what occurred when we entered into that covenant that day? Yahweh said, today thou art my begotten sons, because we made a vow unto him. But the way it's written, you got to read it closely. Now, brother, I want you to see something here. Look, I want you to see this closely, because it got me today. I had to keep going. I had to keep looking. Added it like, so hold up. You know, them colas are detours. So, you got to know how to get around them colons, man. Them semi-colons. It sends you down some, you got to stay on the path. He said, that thou should enter into the covenant that he may establish ye today. Like he did with the children of Israel. They was at the mountain, and the Father said, they said they would do it, Father. And then after a while, they started backsliding. When Yahshua turned his back to go up the mountain, they started backsliding, going back the other way. They were doing the moonwalk. The moonwalk, it wasn't just created. It was created back in the day. So here it is. He said, I'll establish you this day for a people, as a people. He said, neither would you only to make this covenant and this oath, but with standing here with us today before Yahweh, and also with him that is not here with us today. That was talking about us today. Now watch this. This is what got me. He said, I would declare the decree. What he said, sanctify the Sabbath, for it is holy. Keep the Sabbath. Be ye holy, for I am holy. Did he not say that you would be a holy nation? Now all of this is entering into the covenant. You know, be ye holy. He chose us how to be holy. All firstborn with the first fruits. And you're going to see all of this. And what got me, how I hid this stuff, man, how I did it. Watch this. He said, I will declare, and this word declare is 5608. It means I will count, recount, rehearse, reckon. You will be numbered. Because you're in the registry. You got to enter in. I don't care if you say, I know you, man. We grew up on the block. I don't know about that. You ain't written on this block on this stone. So don't go there. So he said, I would declare, that's a whole thing that involves declare. Like he told Moshe, numbered them by their family, by their tribes, by their house. Let them come under their standard. So he had to do that first. But they don't show you all of that. Then he said, the decree. Well, it's a statute. You know? He said, sanctify. He said, remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Well, there's a whole thing required in that to be holy. You know, you have to be cleansed. You know, there's a proper process you got to go through as a priest, what you got to do. Everything has to be set up in order to be holy, but it don't enter. He said, I will declare the decree. Yahweh has said unto me, thou art my son. Well, when we read that right there, you know, and if I was a woman, and they'll be like saying, well, where we at? Why we ain't in this? See, they put that in there, and like they do in the corporate world, they hide the fact what this word son is. And then what got me, when I saw that, see, that goes back to when he said, when I'm going back to, he said, now therefore, if you obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be a peculiar treasure to me of all people, for the whole earth is mine. You shall be unto me a kingdom of priests. He said, you're going to be a kingdom, a priest. But you got to enter into the covenant. He said, now watch this. Understanding that, he said, thou art my son. And this word son, when you go look it up, it's the Hebrew word 1121. And never saw this until, you know, you start putting this together. The word son is the word children. It's in that word, you got to look it up. It says plural, male and female. Now what it don't say just son itself. The Surgeon General confirmed that a while back about this word son. So when y'all look at the word son, thou art my son, is more than the son. He said children. He said, thou art my children. And at that moment, you should say, okay, watch this. Watch this. Now, here goes. When we go into legendary, hold on, here goes another part I want to leave out on this one. The word son also means the sons of Yahweh. And it said for angels, or the word malachim. He said, they who believe were given power to become sons of Yahweh. Well, people got to accept that fact. You know, he trying to show you all of this right here. Here go one more thing. In the legendary form of that word, of the Hebrew 1121 is the word firstborn, and then also this word got a people. In that word, people, let me make that bold so you can see that and put that in red too. It's the word people. People. Now, when you see the different highlighted form of the word son, it's the word firstborn. Also, it consists of his people and the male and female. And we know in the beginning, watch this now, in Genesis the 5th chapter, the second verse, he said male and female, which he created, he called them Adam. And that's when you get the book of the generation of Adam. All this is saying, all this in this word correlates with this word son. You got to put it all together. When he said, thou art my son, he was saying, look here, thou art my people, thou art my firstborn. That's why he was able to say in the book of Exodus, he told Moshe, Aaron, all them that with him, you tell Pharaoh to let my people go, my firstborn, my son, who is Israel, let them go. But how are they going to do that unless they're enter into the covenant? And then the Father said, number them, write them in the book. And we did that. And each of you have the same authority. Those who attach themselves to you they can get in with you. Because you're going to validate for them. Because that's your responsibility. Now, here we go. I'm coming to an end here. He said, then Yahweh said unto Moshe, go to Pharaoh. Well, if you're going to have to go, Egypt, Babylon, the system. Yahweh told Babylon, don't touch these. Y'all remember that in the book of Revelation? They who have the seal, the registry is in the library, the book, and it has a seal on it, the logo of who we are. Those who entered this book is sealed. So he said, don't touch these, but I will give you others for their life. And that's the thing I could never understand over the years. I will give others for their, but don't touch these. I will give you cities for this one right here. Don't touch him or her. This is what the Father has done. So they ain't gonna touch you just like they couldn't touch Yahweh. He said, we can't mess with him. We can see him, but we can't touch him until you take the hedge of protection. Well, we got that protection. So here he said, go to Pharaoh, thus said Yahweh, magistrate of the Hebrew, let my people go. Let my sons go. Let my firstborn go. Let my nation of people go. They are mine because they have entered into a covenant with their father. Like he told David, Solomon is your son, but he will be my son also. Because I have made a promise. Upon the throne of David, he said, there will be peace forever. Unless they have entered to the covenant, the land of Yahweh is covenant land. You cannot get around. And he going to, well, let me tell you something. When you understand that, you can speak with power and authority. You ain't going to have no fear. Because what he going to show you is something even greater than what's over there. He says, don't store your treasure upon the earth. They don't even understand. Here me come. And so Yahweh said to Moses, rise up early in the morning. like Yahshua said to his disciples, let us rise up from this place. For the prince of the world that's cometh, it don't have nothing to do with us. Because the Father said, touch not my anointed, which we were. Well, we all anointed with the oil. Then we go through the process. That's the initiation process of going in. These are my anointed, touch them not. He said, and stand before Pharaoh and say unto him, thus says Yahweh, magistrate of the Hebrews, let my people go that they may serve me. It's coming to that point of time. That which is of Babylon will remain with Babylon. But Babylon was told, these right here, let them go. Because I have given them the stones of acquittal. They're my people. Yahweh has sworn, Psalms 110:4, Yahweh has sworn and will not repent. He will not relent on what he said. That's in Psalms 110:4. He said, thou art a priest. You know why he says that? Because he said, now therefore, if you will keep my words, he said, you will be a kingdom of priests. Yahweh said that to us. He said, thou art a priest forever, because the covenant is perpetual after the order of Melchizedek. And our job at this time period is to set that order up. He said on the Sabbath, and every Sabbath, he said, set this order up. And guess what? Who's doing the same thing? And this is the part they don't want to tell you. That's what this Babylon system, what they call the New World Order. The New World Order, because even the prosecutor, Babylon, was given the same instruction. Set it in order. And the word new, Solomon said, ain't nothing new under the sun. What was, will, and continue to be. The word new means renew the world order. There's two worlds, the Messiah and Babylon. And Satan, the one that oversees the prosecutor, they say Satan, just put the word prosecutor, was told to Babylon, reset everything back to the order. This is the day of restoration. And so Babylon's going to do that. And that we can't fight what they're doing. And it was brought to my attention yesterday. No, that's last night. The HR 6090 has become law. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. It's law now. Don't fight what they're doing. They can't do no more than what the Father ordered from down from above, down here. Let them do their job, or you're going to find yourself in contempt of Yahweh's order. He is over the king. He stands in the assemblies of the God. It's nothing they can do without the authority of him. So don't follow the way of the world. They ain't keeping the law anyway. You know, ain't no pick and choose. You know? And so this anti-Semitic bill, what is going on, you got to see the whole truth about what's going on. And some go forth without zeal and only being classified as being rebellious. And you don't want to be that way. They know not to mess with us because we're peaceful. Now, those who don't know peace, they mixtured. They have violence in the midst. And Babylon will say, you one of us. Come on over here. What you talking about? Don't become, get on over here. But we're peace. In the United States Constitution, they talk to them about peace. Babylon has to protect peace. You can't be both. You can't be war and peace. You can't. That's of them. They can be either one of them. They can be whatever they want. But over here, you got to be life. We got to promote peace. And in their own United States Constitution, they wrote it. Peace. You remember the cowboy movies when there's a war and stuff? When they raised the white flag? Now, what did that mean? They surrender, we peaceful. No. And they left them alone. Well, Yahweh told them, they who bear this standard, this covenant, hands off. They're my people. I'm going to share one last thing, you know, and they can see this from that. Well, I probably ain't going to be able to show that one. But I'm going to read the scripture. And Kiefer said this, and then that'll be it for this right here. And they always talk about the New Testament. The New Testament shared the same light of the Old Testament. He said, 1 Kiefer, the 2nd chapter, 9 and 10. But you are chosen. The word chosen is the elect, the Messiah generation. A royal, the word royal means king. You remember he said, I will make you a kingdom of priests, priestly king. A royal priesthood and holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praise of him who had called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. And I said that y'all the children of light. We had to come into the darkness, you know. Yahshua said this is condemnation. The light came into the world. They refused it and remained in darkness. See, that's when, you know, we came in, that they who saw the light, like the new moon, when you see that light coming in, coming, that means the doors are open up to come back in. You know, we came in and rescued those. He said, which in time past were not a people. You weren't a people. Those who was in darkness. They was outside the covenant. But are now the people, the sons, the daughters, the firstborn nations of Yahweh, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. Do not take advantage of this mercy. And consider what is being said. He said, the day you hear my voice, harden not your heart. And because it's not like, what people thinking, hey, no, you don't know who the Father may send in your life that can mean the biggest, greatest difference in your life. If you hear, and I understand, I know, I've been there, with all the confusion going on in the world, I'm telling you, you cannot see unless the Father open your eyes to see. I'm telling you this. I didn't see. Some things I never believed. Until he opened your eyes to see, that's what the book of Acts is all about. When he opened your eyes to see, you're going to see things beyond. This is like another realm of thinking. All this ain't going to mean nothing. This is going to be a dream here. Why you think it's called the American dream? It's a dream. This isn't our Father vision. It's their vision. That's why they call it an American dream. Look, he said, if there's a prophet, we are the children of the prophet. We are the children of the covenant. We're it. He said, if there's a prophet, you sons and daughters, among them, I will show myself, reveal myself in a vision and speak to you in a dream, not through the American dream. This is Yahweh's vision. And he will invite you into his house